This next request comes from Benjamin Raymer, and he's asked that I cover one of the most successful Don Bluth movies ever, An American Tail.
There are no cats in America, and the streets are paved with cheese. Oh, there are no cats in America.
Yes, it's finally time we look at the movie that those animated Titanic movies like to rip off. Because if there's one way to talk about historic events, it's with talking mice. In seriousness, you can tell a decent story set during a real event. It can be a good way for younger audiences to digest these, though you'd have to be prepared to deal with any of the darker aspects of history and trust the audience enough that what you have is a mere sample of the much harsher reality of life. An American Tail, in this case, happens during the 1880s. Alexander III of the Russian Empire had increased anti-Jewish policies to the point where riots against Jewish communities escalated, thus forcing many to migrate out of Russia to like the United States of America. While that only plays a small part of the overall story, this movie still explores the sort of life that an immigrant child goes through in the process of finding a better life while getting separated from family, all while in the very land that he was told about. Even when accounting the animal characters, it's cool to have any kind of story that makes you care for the livelihood of immigrants given how they're treated in real life. Now, with that said, this movie marks the first time that Don Bluth worked with Steven Spielberg's production company, Amblin Entertainment. Spielberg helped in getting the project from being just a TV special and into a feature film, while basing the main character and his story on his real-life grandfather, also named Fievel. Other notable credits go to Judy Fruedberg and Tony Geis of Sesame Street fame. They, along with David Kirshner, put together the script, had things condensed, and soon enough we were blessed with this charming movie. And to think that this came out 4 years after The Secret of NIMH. Was it worth the wait? Let's find out. So at first, it looks like this story will have a human cast, because we loom onto this house belonging to the Moskowitz family, until we zoom to the side and see another nameplate for the Mouskowitz family. Get it? 'Cause they're mice! Unlike with Secret of NIMH, where animal society happened due to bioengineering that spread to other critters, here it's like The Great Mouse Detective, where the animals were always sentient, just that many copied human traditions. Anyway, the family is comprised of Papa Mouskowitz, voiced by Nehemiah Persoff, who reminds me of Vladimir from Anastasia, Mama Mouskowitz, voiced by Erica Yohn, Tanya, and of course, our main character, Fievel. He's voiced by a young Philip Glasser, and is certainly a better kid actor than Edmund's actor in Rockadoodle.
What about presents? Too big.
What a place.
What a place. What a place.
In America.
They're celebrating Hanukkah, and the gift Fievel receives is his papa's hat, which doesn't fit him, but one day it will once he grows into a mouse. I think we know the human equivalent to that, but anyway, Papa tells them about the giant mouse of Minx, who protected other mice from, well, cats. Yeah, it makes sense given the human analogies and stuff. I just can't get over how so much media immediately goes for cats are bad every time. Oh, and of course they have to bring up America, given what era this is and how many people saw it before learning the harsh truth of it. Mouse holes everywhere, breadcrumbs, you can say anything you want.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
But most important of all,
This I know for a fact. In America, there are no cats.
I'm gonna tell him.
Don't you dare.
anyway, the town gets raided by the Cossacks, carrying out one of their anti-Jewish raids. And for whatever reason, I guess they let their overdressed cats follow them so they can play out their version of the raids for the mice. Now, I'd understand if they brought dogs since they can have the dual role of attacking the humans and any critters in their way, but no, gotta keep it to the cats. Fievel, being young, brave, and stupid, thinks he can scare away the cats with a frying pan. Okay, I'm not that mean. This sequence would be pretty scary, given the dark shading they use for the cats. Though, did they have to add a train sound effect here? Oh well, Fievel escaped unharmed, but their home is now gone.
In America, there are no cats.
Somebody's gotta tell him.
With that, the family heads to Hamburg, Germany, in order to take a tramp steamer to New York City. I do love this funny scene of Fievel being amazed by some of the sights he's seeing before they get on, thereby disrupting the flow of the passengers and the music playing.
Look, Papa! Birds! Are these seagulls?
Keep walking!
Keep walking.
Keep walking!
Of course, it does bear the question, how do none of the humans hear this or notice that the animals are wearing clothing? How do humans see them in this reality if not like ordinary mice? As like with reality, most likely, most of the passengers had to share the lower decks without any good accommodations. Though I guess the mice have it easier since they kinda have to do that anyway. So what's Fievel interested in this time?
Hearing, I thought they were fish.
Fish?
He wants to go up top, but he can't just yet. They return down below, and a misunderstanding gets everyone thinking cats are on board. But no, it does allow Papa to lead into our first song of the movie, about how great America will be without cats.
But there are no cats in America, and the streets are paved with cheese.
Of course, it's also a chance to hear what some people's experiences were with cats. Papa seemingly lost his family to cats when he was younger. One Italian guy lost his mother to a mafia cat, who I don't know why, and maybe it inspired it later, but he reminds me of Fat Cat from Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. And then one guy who lost his lover. Needless to say, they're pretty much painting all cats as evil for causing this much tragedy. But at the same time, this just shows how much hope everyone has that their lives will improve once they cross this ocean. Well, if they can survive it. I think some of these mice are already dead. Look, you can see right through some of them. They're ghosts! And Fievel, well, at first it seems like fun times until the bar of soap he's on starts going through some human stuff. Very sharp stuff. And then, in probably his dumbest decision ever, even for a kid, he sees the door to the upper deck and thinks he should go up there to find more fish. In the middle of a storm, where a gust of wind could easily blow his tiny ass away. His father chases after him, and before long, Fievel finally realizes...
I'm in danger!
Grab my hand!
Papa! Help!
Grab my hand! Fievel!
And this is why you never go topside during a storm, especially when you're a tiny mouse. Oh no, even King Neptune wants to swallow up our hero. Weather started getting rough, tramp steamer was sunk. He's not over to the fearless crew, they probably end up on some island. That's all I got. Well, everyone else made it safely. We get another example of real-life treatment of immigrants on both fronts.
Name?
Smovolodny Dromovichki.
Okay, Mr. Smith.
Papa, why did they change my name to Tilly?
Poor Papa can't get over his son's demise, but luckily Fievel did survive. He got into a glass bottle, though now he just floats helplessly while a chorus plays. You're expecting him to reach the golden land of opportunity, but he ended up in America instead.
Ah, a little immigrant.
Now they are coming by bottle.
Hey, don't be mean. Who even are you?
Just an island at the doorway where I, Henri de Pigeon,
Uh-huh. Whatever you say, Christopher Plummer. He claims the Statue of Liberty was his idea and that he's overseeing its construction. The timing of the construction is on point, so at least that's why the movie is set in 1885. Either way, Fievel thinks he'll never find his family, but Henry is optimistic he will.
Say never, whatever you do.
Never say never, my friend. Oh, tais-toi!
I suppose part of it comes from that American belief that everything is possible if you work hard for it. Though if anything, while it can be easy to fall into despair, having hope can elevate you out of it. With renewed hope, Henry sends Fievel off on a friend of his toward the mainland, to hopefully begin looking for his family. Meanwhile, we see the mice version of American capitalist currency, labor, and marketing. And one character to embody it is Warren T. Rat, voiced by John Finnegan, who along with his associate Digit, voiced by Will Ryan, loves to collect money. Also, that nose of his seems awfully fake. I don't know why.
And we'll get another 17 from Mo. That's 50 cents less than yesterday.
What? 50 cents? I hate to lose money.
I'm also just now realizing that his name is a pun on warranty. Ha! Fievel drops in and Warren decides to take advantage of his dilemma by claiming he knows where his family is. When really, he just wants another 50 cents for doing this.
Papa!
A bit, Emo. A new worker.
Hey kids, want to know what a sweatshop is? It's kinda like what these ladies are doing. And whatever the mice do off screen. But Fievel isn't staying, as he plans to escape. Helping him out is a new friend he makes, Tony, voiced by Pat Music. Though I guess Fievel doesn't pay him mind, he's gotta find his family ASAP. So let's spend a montage of him looking at the American system at work while he looks sad sometimes. Man, it's like America sucks or something! After some misadventures, Tony reunites with him and offers to help him look for his family. As for the family, they think he's already dead. The only one who doesn't think that is Tanya, and wants to make some effort to look for him, though Papa is still guilt-ridden to try. And you know the worst part of it all? This movie constantly teases us by having them in the same shot as Fievel, but neither party sees each other. Anyway, Tony sees this one Irish mouse named Bridget and immediately falls for her. She's trying to rally the mice against the cats who... Wait, cats? In America? But Papa said there weren't any. It's almost like he was wrong. So yeah, our first look at American cats come in the form of the Mott Street Maulers, who murdered Bridget's family beforehand. Fievel almost gets eaten, and it's pretty shocking since they once again use a lot of dark colors and shading. Or maybe they're just reusing the cats from the opening but slightly changed to look less Slavic. Bridget learns about Fievel's situation and offers to help by meeting a mouse she knows named Honest John, voiced by Neil Ross, who happens to be based on 19th century politicians, most notably John Kelly. He's kinda funny.
Never had a chance to vote. Well, he'll vote from now on. I'll see to that.
Oh wow. See, a lot of this is funny, yet there's always a high chance that this is how things were back then, which makes it depressingly sad. We also have this rich lady named Gussie, voiced by Madeline Kahn, known for being in a lot of Peter Bogdanovich and Mel Brooks productions, and who kinda sounds like a racist stereotype.
We must have a wowie.
A wowie? Oh, a rally.
So that's what I said. Cats are killing everyone. They don't even know the difference between rich and poor.
Yes, the wealthy only take action if they were affected by tragedy. Anyway, Honest John doesn't know Fievel's family, so Bridget takes him to her place to spend the night. There we get another song sequence of Fievel of Tanya, both singing about finding each other, while the moon that was already in the sky earlier seems to be rising again. This is a reminder that this is all one big journey for the family in dealing with their new life situation. One is struggling to deal with the loss of a child, while the other is desperately looking for them, all while in a land they thought was amazing in their head, but actually isn't. It's also why this movie can get away with not having a lot of character development, since it is meant to reflect the reality that immigrants faced, and we're seeing some of that animated. You still feel bad for Fievel and his family, so everything that happens gets you invested. At the rally, Gussie tries asking for suggestions on what to do about the cats. Fievel comes up with an idea that only a child could think of.
What did he say?
He said,
Guess we won't know for a while. And even though he's clearly in view of everyone, Tanya and Papa aren't able to see because they're either too far away somehow, or there's a person blocking them. Again, they tease us. So whatever the plan is, it involves everyone gathering various supplies from the shipyard, including an animal skull. Seems they're gonna carry out the plan tonight, as Tony and Fievel are late to be there. In their rush, Fievel gets separated, again, after hearing the sounds of a violin that he thinks is his father's. He follows the sound to the lair of the Mott Street Maulers, which seems to include Benny the Ball from Top Cat? One of the cats sounds awfully familiar.
I got it! Rummy!
Of course! It's Big Bad Joe Hopkins!
Relax! Oh, sure. Relax, he says. I want a dentist now!
Warren T is here! Now why would a rat be among some cats?
This nose here keeps getting in the way.
You could stop playing.
That's funny. I've never known a cockroach with good taste.
Oh, of course! Although that only adds questions to his actual size. He was about as tall as Papa, if you consider his size in relation to Fievel during the earlier scenes. So would he just be one incredibly small cat then? Either way, Fievel finds out, and he's soon found out by Warren, who sends the gang after him in a chase sequence. Just as it seemed like he got away, he gets dragged back in, right as we're starting to learn what the plan he told Gussie was.
we wish the sacred weapon!
You know this will only get rid of the cats that actually bother you, right? You still got plenty more around the city, the state, the country, the world. Never mind the details. Back with Fievel, we see his guard is the Dom DeLuise cat from before, Tiger. Despite taking part in the chase sequence earlier, he's actually not as bad as he made himself out to be.
Don't start that. I didn't mean to scare you that much, really. It's okay, little buddy. Hey, I'm your friend. Oh, come on. Be happy.
So then, why are you part of this gang? Seriously, we learned that Tiger is actually a vegetarian, just roll with it. And if he's this friendly towards mouse children, why on earth would you ever follow along with some asshole who terrorizes and or eats mice, while also selling them to sweatshops? It's probably complicated, but the fact he's starting to help Fievel now is a good sign. That not all cats in this world are bad. But man, does this open up a can of worms regarding the cat-mouse race war that's abundant in these movies. And to think, Art Spiegelman actually accused Spielberg of plagiarism because of the use of Jewish mice, like with this story, Moss. Even though the scenario is completely different, I can kinda see where he was going with. Oh, and this song.
We're a duo, a pair of lonely ones who were meant to be a duo.
This one's pretty fun. However, the alarm goes off and Tiger sends Fievel off while keeping the others at bay.
You're fired.
Good. I'm glad. I never liked you. And besides, your music stinks.
Still not sure why you ever joined, but whatever. Fievel reaches the pier, with many cats behind him, which means they now have to keep the cats at bay until the boat whistle sounds, which also means they can't let the giant mouse loose, but there are problems. Oh, and they find out Warren's a cat, who has now grown bigger since the last time we saw him. Since they won't give up Fievel, he decides to set the place on fire. Just as they stop the secret weapon from moving, they get the order to release it. But oops, it's stuck now. Quick, help them, Fievel! This kid just gets so abused, both mentally and physically. Anyway, let's see that weapon in action.
Get a load of that.
Well, it looks cool. Naturally, it chases the cats all the way to the boat, and with no way for them to get off, not even swim, I guess they're all going to China.
Gentlemen, don't worry. There are plenty of mice in Hong Kong.
Yeah, it's over there's problem now, and over there has to stand up for itself. Anyway, the fire spreads through the pier and causes everyone to flee. Fievel is barely able to do much with the head trauma he just got, though Tony and Bridget find his hat. Also, Tanya hears them calling her brother, Tony calls him Philly, allowing them to meet, and Papa learning that his son is alive after all. Tiger overhears this too, meaning he'll be part of the search party later. As for Fievel, well, he's pretty much fallen to despair and gets convinced by some orphan brats that if his family actually cared, they'd be looking for him and not the other way around.
You're right. They don't care. And if they did, they would have found me. Well, if they don't care, I don't care. I don't care if I never see them again.
And then Fievel fell into such a deep state of despair that he thought his family hated him and was left as a broken husk of a skeleton. Wait, that's a creepypasta thing. The following day, the family, friends, and even Gussie are riding Tiger in search of Fievel. They're using the violin to hopefully get his attention, and thus making the last few minutes as stressful as possible, because you just want them to reunite already. How long must we wait? This kid has suffered so much during this movie, and you keep building up to something. Bring them together, damn it! Yay, they did it! Remember, kids can handle dark stuff so long as there's a happy ending in the end. The family is together, Tiger is happy, Gussie accepts him despite being a cat, and Tony and Bridget...
Oh, my son. Now you are a mouse.
Oh, and the Statue of Liberty has been completed. That's nice. All things considered, this is a very good, enjoyable movie, made by those who know history or knew those who've had personal experience as immigrants. While it does feature some of the usual animated tropes and humor from around the time, the story feels about as real as it can be from how immigrants were treated, how they viewed America as a beacon of hope before seeing what it is, and the sort of prejudices that existed back then. It's still relevant, even now, just that the severity of the situation has escalated with time. It might not cover all the bases, but that's just one aspect. The other is wanting to see the family get back together, and watching this kid go through the motions as he tries to maintain some optimism before spiraling into despair, until the very end when we're rewarded with that sweet happy ending. Of course, while that's a standard for early Don Bluth, overall this felt more like a Spielberg project given the inspiration for it, which is probably why his company would take up the IP for later use, like Fievel Goes West, that one TV show, and the 2 other sequels that came out in the late 90s. While this movie didn't receive as well as Secret of NIMH, it would for a while be the highest grossing Don Bluth related movie at $84 million, until Anastasia came out with $140 million in grossing. Fievel would even become Amblin's mascot for a while, being shown in some Splash intros. In general, for a movie involving Don Bluth that only came about after 4 years since its first theatrical film release, he certainly still had something going, though for how long would become apparent with time. Otherwise, this is just another good old Don Bluth movie with a lot of heart. Next time, we go to an island full of dogs. I'll see you then.